It's on and popping again. Another Saturday night special. Mama, there goes that band. One of the members of the producers of Mama, there goes that band. It's a collaborative of three longtime friends and music colleagues, Markovic Drummond, Aljay Boyd, and SIDney Howard. They have been making music individually and collectively since their days at Mississippi Valley State University. So tonight, he's here to take us on his journey and talk about his music. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been hitting a couple people just to let them know y'all doing it musically really, really well. So to here tonight, welcome to the SL Digital Media, and we're gonna get this first one off right here, and best shot, and we'll chill and then come into the conversation. Here we go.
My next shot is my best shot.
My best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Yeah, talk about me like I'm dead at the buzzer, rain threes on your head all net. Hold up, see your worst and I'm still not afraid. Take care of business, I'ma show you why I'm paid. Put my team on my back, what's a winner that never wins? Put my city on the map, big dance, we back again. Hold up, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Hold up, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Doubters, powders, all the same. Out for the victory, in for the name. Game point, I got ice in my veins. Soon as I touch down, things will never be the same. Bet against me, you gon' learn from the bet. Yeah, they know I'm a threat. Grab the ball out the net. In my zone, I confess. Can't afford to take a rest. Yeah, I passed all the tests. All-star, try your best.
Yo, my best shot is my next shot, and I'ma keep it running till my legs lock. I ain't ever stressed out, even if they said stop. Mama, there goes that band, and you know we make them heads rock. All we do is win like Cali. This is not a hobby, this a habit. I do it with a passion. Yeah, I be smashing, crashing, checks still cashing. I be with the bread like a sandwich. I know the hater Maddie can't have it. I'm winning no cheat code. So many C notes like a casino. I'm in the dough like a peephole. You be losing like keto. Matter of fact, you lost like Nemo. I'm in the game and I'm ready for the blitz. And you only complain like a stylist the way you throw a fit. And I promise to never quit. And I ain't chewing on tobacco, but I'm always gonna spit facts.
My best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Hold up, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one.
Yeah, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. In the mirror, shirt off, let me flex some. Scarface and Jersey, best believe that's some big guns. My team popping off like fireworks, homie. The fourth got him waving the flag like dudes folding. The force like I'm Jedi, I'm master. Luke told me, got a dark side, it ain't the past of me showing. Jerry Rice on the play, Delta Devil all day. And I'm nice with the fake, make 'em all sway. I put money on my game, make 'em all pay. What's my name, I'ma make 'em all say. My best shot is on lock with a red dot. My target is one spot where the wind's got. I won't stop till I drop it, I think not. So get got or stand watching my fans fly.
My best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Hold up, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one.
I'm the best of the best, and you know I win 3, 6, or 5 days in a row. I'm a champion for life everywhere that I go. I'm a superstar, I don't need to put up a show. I'm a player like lay, singer like lay, legend like Faraday. Bad energy stay far away. I got at the top Machiavelli. I am the breaking news on your telly. I like superstars very rarely. Serena and Venus are my friends and my girlies. Talking about superstar bands, I only know one legendary band. It is called Mama, there goes the band. You know I'm your number one fan, come on.
My best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. Hold up, my best shot is the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. It's on to the next one. On to the next one. Do work and it's on to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
You heard it. That was the first one. Best shot. He's here. One of the members of the collaborative the trio. He's here to talk about his journey, how he's done it, how he's how they got it started. And let's take us on that journey. We'll talk a little bit of music. And that's it.
Yep. Yeah, man. How's it going today?
It's all good. I'm just here. Marissa hit me up and told me, yo, I got these guys, man. They got their own little sound. I say, look, bring them on. It's the SL Digital Media. I bring everybody on. That's it. We're going to celebrate.
Excellent, man. Yeah, we've been around for a while. I mean, in a lot of people's way of thinking about things, we should have been there and gone by now. But the thing that we're seeing is the stuff we like to play is coming back. We like funk. You heard there's some P-Funk in what we do, and P-Funk is coming back. In my background, I've worked in the studio with Parliament Funkadelic, P-Funk All-Stars. So we put elements in everything we do. There's a lot of Oakland hip-hop in there, and Aljay, our other member, is in that type of vibe a lot. And the other guy, Markovic Drummond, we just call Mark. Mark's the guy who's playing all the time. He's now doing things with Slave, the group that put out Slide and all of those famous.
Slide. Yeah, baby, baby. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very cool. We've been living our dreams. We actually started this iteration, Mama There Goes That Band, with a fourth member, Marlon Weathersby. And quick story about that. Marlon Weathersby, with me, and if you've seen the Weather Channel, Vivian Brown, the first Black weather person, national weather person, well, her brother was in our band, so it was just the three of us. We would play songs in the laundromat, just kind of breaking into that thing of performance. Then Mark came along, and it was Mark, Marlon, and me. We formed a group called Ebony Spectrum that Aljay, when he came to Mississippi Valley State University, he joined that band. But basically the nucleus has been Aljay, Mark, and me.
Okay. Yeah, well, I figured that. You said, but you added somebody else. And, I'm like I said, my program or my podcast is based on the celebration of everything. It's a lot of podcasts out here that, the ones that get the ratings, it looks like, is the ones that are putting out, camaraderie. I want to be one of the ones that's for the celebration of great individuals who are keeping it positive and, walking a clean walk and doing whatever they're doing. So basically, this is your celebration show for all the great accomplishments that y'all have, done so far, and with some more.
Oh yeah, this is our first album of two that we're going to be releasing. The next or this one that has Best Shot, that drops first Tuesday in 2022. So we're kind of proud about that. We're giving people a chance to just come into everything with us fresh. A lot of what you're saying too about positivity, that's sort of our mission statement and what we do. If you can tell when you listen to my rappers, or our rappers, the guys who rap with us on these things, they hit as hard as anybody, but they keep it clean. But the message is still hitting hard. They're in your face with their voices, with their lyrics, however they have to be, but it's something for all audiences. Because the main thing we want to do is we want to have a positive message. We want to, if I can say this, we want to preach a clean message. And I'm not speaking to anybody who doesn't do that. I'm just saying what our thing is. And you know, the other thing is we basically want to have the most positive philosophies in everything we write. Our ballads celebrate romance, and it's not romance to get some. It's romance to have a life with somebody, to get married, raise a family, and have that family growing up witnessing love.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I'm happy to see that there are people that that's trying to push clean messages out here, because a lot of the music that currently they play on the radio, you do know that it's not clean. You know,
Yeah.
it exploits so much negativity, and then you know
Yeah.
some of these people are taking these messages and turning them into reality, and then by the
Yeah.
time they realize they made that big mistake, it's too late. Now they're really in
Yeah.
the system in the worst way. So kudos to y'all for doing conscious. It would be considered conscious music to me, you know, clean,
Yeah.
real
Exactly.
messages. And we need that. We need that wave, especially now. We need that wave to come in and do a tremendous overhaul of what we already doing. It's gonna be tough, but you know, at least there are some people out here that are willing to sacrifice, because it's like a sacrifice at this point. You know, it's a sacrifice because you know what you're up
Yeah.
against. You're up against some interesting music right now. So
Yeah. It's almost like we're trying to be message wise gourmets, but we're surrounded by McDonald's. And people are going to hit McDonald's more often than they ever hit a gourmet restaurant.
absolutely, that
You know,
that
we want to give a meal of wisdom.
I can believe that. You know, I know one thing though. This particular second song that you got is very musical, so I could
Hmm.
tell you got some band guys and put them up on there, because you know, I really like that second one, because I feel like that one right there
Yeah.
is the one that really sonically can show people, wait a minute, now they playing some serious music with rappers on it, and it has a decent little flow to it. I
Yeah.
like, you know, I liked it, you know, and like I said, anything that's positive, you know, I'm all for that, because you know we need a couple of them on the radio that projects positivity.
Yeah. Mark Aljay started that one. He had just a simple groove. He sang it to me, and then I sang the demo and added the harmonies and stuff. And I'm a big War fan. And if you go back to "The World Is a Ghetto," "Why Can't We Be Friends," things like that by the group War, uh, it has a lot of world elements. It has a lot of Latin elements, which is why we even did a Latin version of "You Don't Know About Me" in Spanish language. So yeah, we have those, and we want the album to we want everyone who listens to it to be able to find themselves, the things musically they identify with. We want them to be able to find themselves in it. I talk about it like this: I'm a jazz major, and
Oh, I could tell in that track,
you
there's
know,
some jazz in it.
oh yeah, and I I think about the phenomenon of smooth jazz, and the reason smooth jazz works is people who don't like jazz hear smooth jazz as jazz, and people who don't like R&B as much or that type of flow see that as the jazz or as the R&B that they can get into, and that's what creates crossover music. Like what's our Nas, Lil Nas,
Oh, little
um,
nuts.
him creating that thing that crossed over country and hip hop, and it's where country people could get into it, people who weren't into country could get into it because they understood the vibe was universal. It was sharing space.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And philosophically, that's where we need to be. You know, something has happened in our society where it's nothing wrong with having a community and supporting the community, but when you make it where your community is the end of your world, and the other community, the people there for them, that's the end of their world, then we get this situation where we're just chopping everything up and it's not continuous and it's not big anymore. I mean, you could have a Thanksgiving dinner with 25 people in it, but if you put each person in a booth, you don't have a gathering. Just open table is a thing that makes everything work.
Absolutely. And you know, it's always great to have, to me now is the time for a different sound to come in also. Shout out to Jaslyn. Shout out to Jaslyn. She's from Minnesota. She's got a movie coming. Zephyr Daniels. I'm trying to acknowledge the people that's coming on. Pink Money, another movie coming. They're on here. And like I said, the most important thing is that we still got people that are willing, because like at this point, it's not like your music is not like it's never been done, but it's just the nerve to constantly try to keep getting it out there. That matters to me. You know, that's what matters to me.
Yeah.
You know, because you're up against a fight. You know, it may seem like you're just doing music, but no, you're not. You're really up against some heavyweights right now. You know what I mean? But as long as I feel as though as long as it's there, I think we got a chance.
Yeah, and the thing that problem is built by the music industry itself, because what a lot of people don't understand is at a certain point, well, even Motown was an independent, and I'm, you know, being in Detroit, we're proud of Motown and we're proud of what Motown did and everything. But at a certain point, the movie companies bought up a lot of the independent music companies, and they put it all under one big conglomeration to make money. And some of these labels they buy, there are documentaries out there of other groups where they show these people just buy and flip labels. And when you buy and flip a home, the reason you do that is you want to make a profit off the flipping. You don't care. You, for example, if you're doing a house to flip it, they say the first way to make a profit is put the money in the kitchen, so that when the person walks in and they see the new stove and the Sub-Zero refrigerator and stuff, which is not the biggest value part of the house, they fall in love with the house. Well, a lot of what they do in music right now is they find something that was a hit, and they kind of come in with the attitude of, let's keep giving people what they're familiar with. I coming from a different era of really getting into music in the 70s. In the 70s, there was something new coming every month from somebody else. I remember when Rufus and Shaka Khan hit the scene. That was music we had never heard before. And you just go down the line. And, you know, there were the funk groups, the funky groups that were copying James Brown. There were people copying Ohio Players. But there was still a lot of new things coming out. And in my generation of listeners, people used to fault people for sounding like other people. And even in hip hop, I've heard people cite people for biting their lyrics.
Yeah,
so it's like
there's
somewhere in the middle of that. Go ahead.
That was a standard though back then.
Yeah.
Now it's like, how long are they going to let us listen to the same beat? How long are they going to let us listen to the same flows? It's monotonous at this point, and the music really isn't it's not well conscience driven anyway. It's
Yeah.
and remember, when you were younger, rap was nothing like this. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it was
I
party.
loved old school.
Yeah. I mean, it was party. And still to this day, some of those
Yeah.
songs like Apache and Dougie Fresh, I mean, they get a crowd up still
Yeah.
to this day, you know. So now it's bottom heavy, same beat, same flows.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It's like that was disrespectful, like you said, to rap the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
And you think about it, what's different? Yeah, what's different from the third tissue that you pull out of the box as opposed to the first one? Nothing. You just pull it out and you don't have to hang on to it because it's meant to be disposable. Well, when music becomes that way, that's why we see so many artists come in and go because they weren't meant to stay there.
Yeah.
And a little known secret in the industry is if you don't make your money off your second project with a major label, they don't pay you. Because the first project for the most part is all about introducing the artist. So they put a lot of money into promotions, video, and all like that. So the next one, it's like, well, now you have to sell on your own. Well, even if you sell on your own on the second project, that keeps you on the label, but you're paying for everything that went into the first project and the second project. And
Yeah.
I worked with a group that went from a small label, Malaco Records in Mississippi, to Epic Records. And they weren't pleased with what was going on. And Epic handed the father a $1 million or $4 million bill.
Mm.
And, you know, they didn't know why it was that way. But the thing was, this new group was paying for everybody else in the hotel that had to be part of that promotion thing, along with their own. Well, you saw the docudrama on TLC.
Oh, yeah.
That explains a lot of it.
Yeah. And it's funny because they were flat broke.
And that, you know, people would think, yeah. And somebody figured out that the average band or act that sells or that is signed to a major label makes about what you make at McDonald's. Except if you're full-time at McDonald's, you're getting your health care taken care of. You're getting all of those full-time worker benefits. When you are when you're signed to a label and you're out promoting, you know, they put you in a hotel, they make sure you have food per diem and all like that. But all that comes out of your pocket anyway if there's any type of profit. And that's what happened to TLC in that situation. But it goes to the point. We need to create music that promotes itself.
Yeah, but before you go in there, the real estate is to write or produce. So if you go in as just an artist who never wrote nothing, never produced nothing, it's going to be something special on that contract.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, that's what happened to
never broke them.
No, they shouldn't have been. But you can get a teenager to sign a contract that does everything for the company and nothing for the teenager because they think everything is leading to them being Stevie Wonder or Whitney Houston or any of those people that they see that have made lots of money. And it really, and this is not to put down the music industry, because it's this way for every industry. Every industry has a pyramid, and there are people who are elite. We even know with professional sports and basketball, there'll be people who will be glad they made it on a team, got out of G League, and now they're at the end of the bench. But they are making good money for what they're doing for a very short while.
Yeah, of
because
course.
most of those people, by the time the first draft, the next draft comes by, they're off the roster. And it's if we focus on letting excellence pay for itself, and I put the onus also on listeners and consumers. If people don't buy things that are below them, I'll use a quick example of the grocery stores. Grocery stores realized that there was a premium on selling organic stuff when people started wanting to get organic stuff because they wanted to be healthy. And they knew all those other things in there weren't good for them. Well,
Yeah, of course.
they started buying the things that were better for them. And at that point, the grocery store was like, okay, yeah, we'll do this. Without that, you'd have 80% of what's in there being like Cheetos as far as nutrition is concerned.
Oh yeah, you can believe that. I mean, it's more junk in the supermarket than the goodness, and most people go in the junk aisles. That's where they start at.
Yeah.
They start with the chips and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
one quick. Yeah, and if you see, and this the analogy still sticks with music. If you see it advertised on television, usually it's not the healthiest food. If you get a coupon promoting it for you to go in and buy it because you can get a discount on it, it's not the best food. The best foods, like you hardly go into good, what is the Whole Foods. You hardly ever go into Whole Foods with any substantive coupon.
Yeah.
There are little breaks here and there, but they know you're there because you basically would rather pay for food than pay for prescriptions. And when people get that in their minds, even in our community, I look on cable, and whenever they set up what the white people setting it up, mostly in control of these cable networks, things for blacks, what is black entertainment, it's not showing us in our best light. It's showing people that
those reality TV shows.
Yeah.
Those reality TV
Yeah.
shows are a defamation, and I think they owe everybody black
Yeah.
that sit back watching that mess money, because all it shows is no unity, no love, no nothing,
Yeah.
and it's just filth. But guess what? They're gonna always find somebody ready to do the job and ready to put on that display. But they know if you keep playing it and if you keep looking at it, you heard the terminology in the Bible, so a man thinketh is he. And they can, trip some minds up to start thinking, I'm not gonna listen to my man. And then the guy, I'm like, I ain't listening to my girl. It's gonna start a trickle down effect if you constantly keep looking at it.
Yeah. And I know there've been times where they're like corporate picnics and such. I know of one because a friend of mine was at it, and they had watermelon at the picnic. When I grew up, because I grew up down south, when I grew up and there was a picnic, if you didn't have watermelon, it's like, well, why did you even put this thing on? But because people kind of take surface things to be more than they are, the people got upset that there was watermelon there. But they don't get upset at things that go on television that have these stereotypes of black people that, I mean, think of how many drug shows there are on television now.
That are
and they're just spinning them out.
High ratings too.
Yeah.
Faithful people can't wait to see something showing black people as drug dealers, showing them as dysfunctional families, dysfunctional love, dysfunctional stuff. But they're not understanding this is a subliminal message to our culture. Look how deformed y'all
You got
are.
it.
And you can't wait to see it.
Yeah. And you're not going to get out of where you are without coming to us in politics to lift you out of the mire that you're stuck in, because we can do it. We can clean up our own neighborhoods and communities, but you can't, because it's your nature to be oversexed, to be into drugs, to be violent. And I've been around enough to hear things, to attach them to things. And that message of those three things is the message that the Klan was putting out. The Klan was saying we gotta go after black people, because black people, they're dumb, they're violent, they're oversexed. And we
never heard
we put our
nobody
stamp on
put it like
approval.
that though. I never heard nobody put it like exactly like that. I can truly say that this era is
Yeah.
definitely in a space of how you'll never feel good because you're not watching anything that is good. You're not listening to anything
Yeah.
that is good. It's not good. So if you look, you listening to music that's
Yeah.
not good for your soul. Right after that, well, then you go home, turn on a cable station, and you can't wait to see black people, drug dealer shows and all kinds of stuff, and they think that that's what we supposed to look at. But guess what? The ratings are high.
Yeah.
And they are looking at it.
Yeah, and a lot of people have just opened the door of their minds. You were talking about, so as a man thinks, so is he. Paul, the Apostle Paul said, take every thought captive that exalts itself above God. And when you think about that whole thing of what you're saying, if you take those thoughts captive, I actually wrote a book on thought discipline called Stay in Your Lane. If you think about even the Garden of Eden, God came before Adam and Eve and told them, do everything, but don't eat of this tree. The serpent came in and he said, is that really what God said? Instead of taking the thought of, yeah, that's what he said because I heard him say it, and I don't want to hear anything else from you. At that point, there's no point of temptation because the serpent has been cut off. But when you start considering, and even, I don't mean to go into a big Bible lesson, but when you consider the difference between Joseph and King David with Bathsheba, with Joseph, there was Potiphar's wife, and she was horny for him. And she started grabbing his clothes and trying to make him have sex with her. And he ran out of the house from her without all of his clothes on because she tore them off. David looked at Bathsheba bathing and just started focusing on it and opening his mind to it. And when people start opening their minds to negative things, and I really have to say, culturally, we had a whole lot more. And I don't want to be one of those guys saying, well, it was so much better in our days. But culturally, we had Earth, Wind, and Fire putting out positive messages. I remember when
that music was exciting.
Isley Brothers had Harvest for the World.
Yeah.
And and Stevie, of course, was putting out love messages. I mean, it was just part of what we expected from good music because we got used to it. And even if it wasn't lovey-dovey like that, we had Chic saying that you can live the great life too. It was an image of black people that anything that you look at Jackie O and the Kennedys and stuff, that's something you can do for yourself. And I say this, and maybe it's a dangerous thing to say, but I do remember when black music took a sudden change. And that was when Stevie Wonder helped create national law with Martin Luther King's birthday, with the whole promotion of Happy Birthday to You,
Yeah.
that we play all the time. Now it's the anthem of the Martin Luther King thing. And then suddenly black music wasn't about positive messages anymore. Was it a coincidence?
Do you think that they sat down and said, we can find other people to put out just any old music? And then slowly but surely, it started to come after that. Because like you said, the music from the past is inspiring music. It made us as a culture, when things was so bad, it made us as a culture. That was the escape, the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now there is no escape because the music, I mean, you can listen to the radio right now. The women is mad at the men, and and the men talking about the women. It's like all out war on all this music.
Yeah.
And they don't see, and here's the tripped up word in this: relevant. They taught them that word relevant, and relevant is a disguised word that's saying it's bad.
It's an excuse.
Well, it's disguised, because you will hear young people say, "Oh, that ain't relevant." That's what they will say. Or
And relevant,
that's
a lot of
old
times
school.
it means I haven't heard this younger person, current person, because that's the other word they use too, current. I haven't heard this person doing it, so it's not relevant to our culture.
Yeah.
So if this person is putting out, like even R. Kelly. I remember when R. Kelly hit, and what was his 12 play? When he hit
12,
with that, I knew guys who what's that?
12 play. That was it.
Yeah, 12 play. I knew guys who got into that. I saw people wanting to do more and more of that. And now we see where he wound up, because R. Kelly got trapped in his own philosophies. And it was, if somebody is allowed to do something unchecked, I used to like Aesop's fables because I'm really into philosophy. I'm into wisdom. And there was one I learned when I was in elementary school. There was the thief and his mother. So a thief has been convicted of guilty of being a robber and a murderer and all of like that. And his mother comes over to him as he's going toward the gallows, and she reaches in her face to give him a kiss, and he bites her on the ear. And everybody is all up in arms saying, what a terrible person he is to his own mother. And he said, well, I want you to know that when she saw me stealing things, when she saw me lying, when she saw me growing up with this attitude and philosophy of lawlessness, she didn't do anything. And if she had spoken up, I wouldn't be going to the gallows right now. And that one had the moral that spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah. We're going to switch it up just a little bit.
You can control.
Yeah. I want to switch it up just a little bit. I wanted to play that song, then we'll come back, because I did want to find out who was your top 5 male. I see y'all doing rap, so we're going to talk about rap and R&B. Top 5 male, female, on vice versa with R&B and hip hop. So let me play the song, and then we'll come right back. They don't know coming up, right?
They don't know about me. You don't know about me.
You don't know about me.
Oh, you're saying they don't know the ballot. The ballot, yeah.
No, it's you don't know about me. That's what here.
Okay, we have that. I was getting mixed up because we also have a song called Now They Know, which is one of our ballads. But yeah, they don't know about me. Quick explanation of that is you let people see rather than just bragging. Because if all I do is brag about what I am, you don't know about me. But you wait and see in what I do, then you know about me.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Can't stop me now, you can't. Can't stop me now, you can't. Hey, you can't stop me now, you can't. No, you can't stop me now, you can't stop me now, no. You don't know about me, but you're about to see. That's right. No matter how hard you try, hey, can I go first? You can't stop me now. To stand, baby. Yo, determination, I mold the faces and broken bases. Lord willing, I'll make a change with tricky cadences. Adjacent enemies, they all seeing things differently. And foes face your neck, but don't assist with address lyrically. But that's the system, man, we live in it. Take a minute, sit with it, then overcome it. Cause you can stomach the acidity. Never try to throw it up, but you'll die just before crapping out. Excuse the analogy. That's right. Mama, there goes that band. But you're about to see. Gotta think they can flip it like this. Hey. No matter how hard you try. That's right. You can't stop me now. Hey yo, rap, what you got?
You don't know about me. You don't know about this burning in my chest to see the whole world turn about me. For the ones that doubt me, took one look at me, turned their nose up at me, told me there was nothing about me. The only affirmation I need is the one inside. God wrote my destination, so he's my only guide. Invited people on the journey to enjoy the ride. Some chose to humble me, but I came away with pride. Cause I was told to be a lion and pray more for my enemies and take every chance to pay for it. See more sunny days cause sun can shine when the rain pours. Make my legacy what the future wants that it came for. This little kid with glasses from the East Coast, grew up on syrup and French toast. Had big dreams of me doing the most, and I won't stop till I give up the ghost. What? You don't know about me,
but you're about to see. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop me now. I know because I do pursue far and wide everything that's doing to me the game. It's not just about fame. And that being said, come back and see me when you read about me, read about me. Go through, you have read something about me. I said, don't know about me. No, understand there are some things about this story you don't understand.
I choose my own destiny, your opinion of me don't define my legacy, mine totally free, doing everything I dreamed of, living my purpose, came from the bottom, rose to the surface. That's why you gotta have self-love and motivation every day in the mirror, repeating my affirmations. Everything came from hard work and dedication. Another day above ground, another celebration. How you like it, how we do that there? Yeah, in my zone, don't interfere. Yeah, I'm different, so they judge and stare, but I don't care, I ain't going nowhere. Making it clear, like I said, I be chilling in my zone. I'm fire, so you know that the heat is on. From the streets, so I learned how to hold my own. I ain't worried about you, so to each his own.
You don't know about me, but you're about to see. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop me now.
Yeah. You don't know about me. You heard it.
Yep.
Sounds great. Man, I
Yep.
can only imagine what that would sound like live. You know, because I already can hear that music.
I'd love it.
Yeah, that music is going to resonate through a lot of people musically, just from the musical. And I can
Yeah.
tell the way y'all did that one, it was a voyage in there with this music. The rap was in there, but I can
Yeah,
already
you
hear
picked up on
y'all
it.
can rock it. Y'all gonna rock that live, you know. That might be the best
Yeah.
musical rap song ever. And those
Well,
symbols.
yeah, and one of our reviews. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you hit on a real good part, very pertinent part. Because I remember growing up, the thing that told me I was at a concert was the chrome on the drum set. Because
Yeah.
they have things very low, light wise, but the light is hitting that chrome and everything. And when they're sound checking, that foot is kicking, so it's like a heartbeat in your face. And then when the lights go up, everything shiny tells you you're at something. And that's with the horns, the brass on the horns and everything. The guitars. I remember even back when the Fender basses had a chrome cover over the pickups.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. It's part of the pageantry of a live band. And I even like it when rap started using live bands along with the rappers, because it took it to a different place.
The Roots kind of got that started. The Roots, because they were
Yeah.
doing it way back, Boys and Men era. A lot of people don't know that, but they go back
Yeah.
in the 80s, and that was like regular for them. And when they
Yeah.
went
And
overseas,
Questlove is a musicologist.
well, they went to the
I'm sorry,
performing
go ahead.
arts. They all went to the
Yeah.
performing arts. So they were really
Yeah.
friends from school.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure the band members
Yeah.
have
And
changed.
Questlove. Yeah. And Questlove is a very respected, highly respected musicologist right now.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who can talk to you about music like a professor. And you feel like you're in a very enjoyable lecture. And that's what, even with what our music, I hadn't thought about it, but I think we're in the same lane as far as where we're going with this album as Roots, because it's all about putting everything together, and the commonality is good music and good performances. And I'm not the biggest rap fan out there. Uh, um, so I don't keep up with as many of the things that are going on. But I can tell you, I love the rappers on the Mama There Goes That Band LP, because they bring in so many different things from so many different places. We have a rapper from Nigeria named Vega Michaels,
Okay.
she's totally got her own vibe. And what? Yeah, she was actually on. She was the African rapper that was on My Best Shot.
Oh, okay.
And we have we have an array of so many rappers. And Aljay was more the person, like I mentioned before. He's really into hip hop. He wanted to bring rappers on things, and I got into it realizing that they were instruments. They were vocal instruments, vocal percussion instruments that sometimes could go musical in their flow and everything. And that really made it interesting to me, because the polyrhythmic backgrounds that you used to hear with Santana, Earth, Wind, and Fire, groups like that, even Commodores on Brick House with the timbales and all those things going, We didn't have that much going on with those types of instruments, even though we did have some things, but the rappers kind of became the percussion, and the way they change up things and everything. I never get tired of listening to them
Yeah, of course.
because everybody is, yeah, everybody is picking up something where the other person left it off.
Yeah. You know, I want to switch it up. I wanted to hear your top 5 singers, male and female, and we'll just do 5 rappers, and they could be throwback, rappers. They don't have to be the current ones.
Okay.
It's really just your list. So 5 female singers that your top 5. No particular order. I figure that.
Okay. Aretha, Whitney, Phyllis Hyman, because she brought something new. Shaka
Okay,
Khan,
okay,
of course.
yeah, definitely. Shaka Khan.
And
Wow.
and I like Corinne Bailey Rae.
Kareem Bailey Ray. Okay.
Yeah, girl, but and the reason I like her vibe fits her. At the time she put out Girl, Put Your Records On,
Yeah.
it felt very girlfriendish, very innocent. And I kind of missed hearing that with female singers.
Well, you know what?
So did I do 5?
I'm glad you said that because I'm telling you, I've had some songs on here that I played, and I call it fantasy, love, voyage, that type of music. I've actually had a couple on here. They're currently not on mainstream radio, but I could tell you if they put it in my hands for the next R&B records, I think I can give them good 7 to 8 right now, and they would be real R&B records, and it would be kind of innocent for the young, because they needed the most. They needed the most.
They need an environment where they can.
I could put that together. I could tell you right now, I could put a compilation together right now, and I know it would be a very good. It'll make older people like it too. You got to play it in the middle, though. You got to give them the younger voice so that they can identify the younger. But if you could give them the lyricism and the love in it, as long as it's young, they'll kind of follow it too.
Yeah.
The older going to want love music.
Yeah. And the other thing I like about some of the older singers, they were very good. Older, I don't mean age-wise, but era-wise. They were very good in interpreting a lyric. So they made you feel like you were there. Stevie Wonder is one of those I love, because when he sings, "Good even morning, friends," you kind of feel the vibe right where it starts, because it's like love is in need of love today. And
it's a different time.
And
had
even
real struggle. Yeah. It was real struggle. Remember, the N-word was still being written on the wall. So, this music was the only thing that made us escape and made us feel pretty good, because once we hit that door back in the day, it could be riots or any type of thing was jumping off in the 50s and 60s. I mean, it was crazy back then.
And then the people that you had, like, I love the Temptations. Actually, our title track, Pandemic, What is Free and What is Free to You, is kind of inspired by the Temptations' Ball of Confusion. Or no, The Message, but still that same type of Barrett Strong, Norman Whitfield type. They called it psychedelic soul back then. Then there was Sly Stone. who I think at this point he's probably one of the most underrated poets out there. Because when I played the Fresh album, what's that?
You said the Sly
Sly
album.
and the Family. Yeah.
Yeah, Sly and the Family.
I played Fresh for some young people. The Fresh album that has If You Want Me to Stay. That was a big hit from that. I played the album for them, and it was like funk they never heard before. It was almost like all your life you ate Sara Lee cheesecake, and then one day you went to Junior's and you tasted what real cheesecake is, or anything you can fill in the blanks with that. Now, you were saying about rappers.
Top 5 male rappers.
I like LL Cool J.
Cool J.
Yeah, yeah, because when you take "I'm Bad" and you put in after that, if you put in directly after that, "Mama Said Knock You Out," you could see the growth in him. But it's not the type of growth that when you go back and listen to "I'm Bad," you feel like, well, he's improved. You just feel like, well, this is a different picture of him, and he was there. I love Public Enemy.
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy came out with a thing like, yeah, even the one of my favorite songs by them is "I Can't Do Nothing for You, Man," from Fear of a Black Planet. And that is because
now I'm glad you saying
they knew
this.
how to use comedy.
Yeah, but Public Enemy was conscious driven. They were conscious.
Yeah.
They were conscious driven.
And that was in KRS-One.
He was conscious driven. Yeah.
I learned the term edutainment from him. And he basically, his projection was that not even so much of a preacher. Chuck D is more of a preacher. KRS-One is a professor, the way that he flows and everything. And then, I love Dougie Fresh.
He's probably the greatest.
I really like the old school.
That might be the greatest rap up-tempo throwback song. I mean, probably the greatest rap song for a club.
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah.
I mean, they play that still, even in the young crowd. So they clearly, Teddy Riley did that track, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Teddy did that. In fact, I saw a small documentary on how it, was transformed. How Dougie Fresh went over his crib and all that kind of stuff, and he created it, and that's how it got there. I mean, that's an amazing track, man. Teddy did a lot of amazing tracks. So, but that particular one, think about it. That was in the 80s.
Yeah.
LL.
I mean, even when you mentioned
LL came out 83, 82. He did I Can't Believe it.
Yeah. First thing I heard was the ballad that he did, "'Cause I Love You Girl" or something like that.
What? LL?
I heard that, and then I heard yeah. Yeah, he was the first one to do a rap ballad.
Need Love. It was "I Need Love."
I Need Love.
Yeah, that
and
was
then
a big record.
Having that, yeah, and it lets you know rap was more than just hip hop, a hip to the hip hop. It was more than just that, which wasn't bad, because without Rapper's Delight, the industry would never have grown as quickly as it did. The rap industry, because Rapper's Delight took a song that was already one of the top songs of that year, and they just they rapped to it. And that was the first time I'd heard someone do that, because rappers were just using 808s and Latin drums, and sometimes there was no other music on it but just the beat. And that's even changed
Yeah,
because now a beat is more than the beat, it's the whole arrangement.
that's clearly. I mean, the music now, um, like I said, if you take it back to KRS-One and LL and Treacherous
Yeah.
3 and all those guys, Sugar Hill Gang. One thing about all those
Yeah.
records is that the only thing that everybody can really remember is the songs, but they don't really realize they're all different tempos. All of them, like they all up
Yeah.
tempos, but some of them are 120, some of them are 99, pushing
Yeah.
102. But it just seemed like when they were able to do those type of records, it was about fun. But the
Yeah.
difference was, I think they never figured it out until later what they were going to turn our music into. Everything that they have turned it into
Yeah.
became, the streets started to tell their story. And once the streets got into it,
Yeah.
it changed right there. Now, who made it
Yeah.
famous from the street? Now, that might be NWA. They were the
Yeah,
ones,
definitely.
because I'm quite sure it was some other people out there. The Coogee Raps, and they was telling street stories too.
Yeah.
They was talking about money in their sock and they on a corner and all that kind of stuff. They was doing it. Gradually the street came into to hip hop, and ultimately
Yeah.
now it's pretty much embedded into it now.
Yeah. And this is away from music, but it kind of makes me think about it. I remember when Macho Camacho became a
What, the
champion.
wrestler? You talking about the wrestler?
No, the boxer,
Oh,
Hector Macho Camacho. Yeah. Yeah. I
The
remember
boxer.
when he took where he had grown as a professional and as a businessman and all that. He took it back to the hood, but he kind of did it in a way like I belong where everybody is. Instead of raising what I call that Harlem Renaissance attitude of, okay, I'm successful now. I'm going to be an example and help where I can to raise everybody else as successful as I am. Where I grew up, Mississippi Valley State University, it's just outside of a little town called Itta, Mississippi. And it broke my heart to find out that this little city, this little town went bankrupt because its founding was based on the cotton industry. And little by little, everything ran down. And I've been talking to a guy who's a venture capitalist or works with venture capitalists. And I was saying, instead of taking this money and going to China with it, invest in these small towns in states with low economies, because you can get people for less, because it takes a whole lot less to pay somebody's living costs in Mississippi than it does in California or right now, the Silicon Valley or something like that. And I'd really love to see more and more people who make it in entertainment, who make it in sports entertainment, take that attitude that I'm going to show people what they need to do, not promote what they think they need to do. And there's a big difference because people, if you're a rapper and you're entertaining me by having an attitude and saying nobody can mess with me or whatever, that's fine. Back when I was a kid, we used to wear cowboy get up and shoot cat pistols, but we never had the attitude that we wanted to grow up to be a cowboy and shoot people. So there's a thing you can play in make believe that's fun. but you don't promote it as reality, and a lot of people have gone to prison
Now that's why,
because they got
and
stuck.
you know that that's the reason why the music is the way it is, because really
Yeah,
they're pushing it. They're trying to say, oh, it's just a song. If every song
yeah,
or most of the songs are talking about division, we not
yeah,
going to be together, and it's just camaraderie going on with
yeah,
every song. What do you think that means? That means they
yeah,
only foresee you in this light.
yeah. I remember when somebody, I was teaching hip hop at or not hip, well, I ended up basically teaching hip hop production at a midnight basketball organization. I don't know if you remember when those things came out, but it was a thing to attract young people to study for the GED. So they could have the equivalent of a high school diploma. And they got to play basketball in gyms at midnight and stuff if they took the lessons in the evening to do that. And one of the lessons, one of the perks they had was they could come into the studio that the program built for me, and they could record their own tracks and everything, and they could learn to record their own tracks. And I remember talking to someone. This was early '90s, probably no, it was 1994, and this girl started explaining to me that NIGAH was a positive thing because it stood for Nubian Intelligent. And by the time, before she got to the G, I had zoned out because it was such stupidity. It's, and now, you can't take a negative word, make it yours, and make it positive when it's negative. It is what it is. And there's too much history behind that, which is why, people lose their jobs. White people lose their jobs if there's anywhere that they can find that person used that word, because it is a destructive word. But people decided, well, just like the other destructive things that they put forward, they decided, well, we'll get empowerment from it. You can't power yourself by poison.
Oh, definitely. I mean, but you got to remember that the young people will always say that word relevant. And that word relevant
Yeah,
is going to always take them right to that type of music. And they're going to call throwback music old school. They ain't even going to
yeah,
entertain it. They're going to be like, no, that's old school. But they don't even understand that old school was the music that actually sold. Y'all keep talking about streams and anything that's not showing
yeah,
us that y'all selling. So
yeah.
I still haven't
When I
figured
heard
that
that,
one.
yeah, when I heard that Pharrell on his streaming things for Happy, he made $5,000. That told me that you're not going to make any money from streaming, because
Yeah,
that song played everywhere. I mean, for two
but
years,
but
Happy
guess
was
what?
constantly playing on streaming
It
sites.
may not, the streaming might not have did it, but he did the shows. And that's where the money kicks in at.
Yeah,
And that's probably why so many people are in 360 deals too. Because technically,
yeah,
you can say you got all these streams, but that's not going to amount to how much money they really spending on you.
yeah,
That ain't nothing. You get 10 million streams, that's no money to them. They pumping in some serious cash, and then you're making a nice little bit hitting that road. And it really don't add up
yeah.
because
And
they're not making any money off of you like they did in the past. They're not.
Yeah. And even, to be honest, back in the day, I mean, when you think Ray Charles was one of the first artists, probably the first artist to own his own masters. And then after that was Sam Cooke. But most people didn't own their masters. Even in Motown, a lot of the people had gripes about the fact that they said that Berry Gordy was ripping them off, but he gave them everything he promised in the contracts, and his contracts were just like the white contracts. It's a situation where you got a bit of money for everything that was reproduced, the mechanical rights. You didn't even, just until recently, you didn't get any type of residuals for performance. So it's like if you didn't own a part of the song or a part of the publishing, the only thing you got from it is bragging rights that's my song. I wrote that song, or not, I sang that song, and that song is identified to me. But the business of music is hard enough. And if you've ever read that big book called This Music of Business, it's like something you learn in law school. But the problem is the music business keeps changing, and everything's keeps changing in it. And even the way that you're going to do things. I'm wearing this my Michigan jersey. I just watched the Michigan game, and I heard a guy say something very interesting. He said, well, Michigan is 6-0 right now, and as of today, before the new rankings came out, they're number 6. They went from unranked to number 6. But the guy said, that's okay to do what you're doing with these unranked teams. But the way they're playing right now, they're not going to win against Ohio State and some of the bigger programs. And it's like, streaming is okay. Giving away music, which is people need to stop doing. You need to give people a little taste of what you're doing and letting them buy it, because unless somebody buys it, they don't put a value on it.
I'm glad you're saying this. I'm glad you're saying this, because I don't see anybody really making any money from this stuff. And if they're not buying the music from any of these platforms, what's the point of being on a platform?
Yeah.
You need promotional dollars to actually make money. That's why I say a lot of this stuff it has like a facade to it. It sounds pretty good when you just put it on the joint. But at the same time, how can we prove that y'all are worth money at this point? They gotta figure this out. It's a lot of people putting music out. It's a lot of people that got music, but is it good enough for somebody to say, yo, I'm gonna go buy that? I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I have had songs on here that I know, if packaged right, I believe they would have a career. And I'm talking about, these are R&B records too. These are straight up R&B records. But when you look at this industry, that's not what they picking. They're picking these records. You hear good singing, but the words mean nothing.
Yeah,
and that's
they're
why
forgettable.
They probably can't buy it. That's why nobody's buying it. Because who's going to want to buy something that continuously tells you, I want to argue with you. I want to, you my baby mama, and then vice versa. Yeah, that's my baby daddy. This is not going to work. This is the reason why music has declined. Nobody talks about going to get nobody music. If they not going to get a major artist, How the hell you think you gonna bounce up with that? You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not going
You
to
have to get
happen.
away from that. Yeah, you have to get away from that I can do that too attitude. Because if you're putting TOO after what you're doing, you've already said I'm not unique. And then you're also saying that I'm not necessary because I'm doing it too. You know, I'm trying to clean up the kitchen. I'm washing the dishes and somebody comes up to me and says, I can do that with you. Well, I don't need
Yeah,
you to wash the dishes with me. I need you to find something to do that helps us get the kitchen clean because we don't need to have 12 hands in the dishwater. And what Mama There Goes That band wants to do is we want to bring back lyrics, the importance of lyrics. What we're giving away with our album is a 34-page PDF that tells you all about the people who were on the album, but it also has all the lyrics out. And the reason that it's so many pages is we have everything the rapper said there for people to read and read again and go back. And we invite people to do things the way that we used to do. When I got Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder back in 1996, first thing I did was I put the record on, I opened up the book that came with it, and I started reading the words. So it was a very immersive experience. I felt
yeah,
I knew what the words were. I wasn't trying to guess what they were because I could read them. The music was taking me a place. Stevie was singing with such perfect inflections that whatever he meant to say, he sang it the way he would have said it. So
different
I
time
wasn't
though.
like, isn't she lovely?
Yeah, that I
What's that?
mean,
Yeah, it was a
we're in
different time. And
it was
there's
a
a
different
reason why.
time. It was a different space, and if you notice, all of these songs that you're talking about made you feel good,
Yeah,
and you still remember them
exactly.
to this day, and you're only remembering them because you remember the lyrical content at the time, and also it was a bad
Yeah,
time, and that was the only getaway. Now we're not even doing none of that, and yet it's been some bad things happening. Not to mention, black
yeah,
people can't live together in certain neighborhoods. It's going down. It's going down.
yeah,
You know, you could pretty much.
yeah,
I said this to somebody in the car Friday. Tell you what I said. Watch there be crime in Philadelphia from Friday night. From Philadelphia, Chicago, where else did I say? St. Louis, Baltimore is guaranteed. Now that's just
yeah,
Friday night going into Saturday. I guarantee
yeah,
you turn if you look at what happens from tonight, all those cities gonna have black on black crime.
yeah.
It's guaranteed.
A
You
person,
just don't know where it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen.
posted a meme today that I read where it says, Black people stop killing Black people. And I kind of thought about it and I thought to myself, it's not like killing people is a daily requirement where it's like, well, if you got to kill somebody, don't kill Black people. What people need to be thinking about is what happens after you get indicted. Think about the freedom that you didn't appreciate, but now you've been indicted. Uh, and when you're indicted and you
Your
don't
life
make
is over.
bail,
Your life is over.
yeah. And I mean, a deterrent to me is just the cavity search. I don't want to do anything where somebody has me bending over, pulling my cheeks apart. and stabbing in there to see if I have any contraband hidden. I don't want to be a part of that thing. And that's not the reason not to kill. The reason not to kill is the repugnance of having that on your heart, that you took a life. And you're either going to be guilty in your heart for doing that and blaming yourself, or you're going to become so hard-hearted that you lose your humanity. And either way it goes, it's the thing of playing chess rather than checkers. You know,
Well,
you
you do
know
something wrong
4
now.
moves away why you don't want to make this move.
But look, check this out. You do something wrong
Mhm.
now, they will always find enough money to put you in jail. But there's never enough
Yeah.
money to create that job. In fact, most of the people that are in jail, for the money they spend on them, that's not even the average yearly salary. So it's the system is, how can they find enough money for you to go to jail, but they can't find any money to put you to work? It
They
doesn't
print it.
make any sense.
The government can always have enough money because they own the printer. Like even now, what they're talking about, and we don't want to get too far into politics, but what
Yeah,
they're
I'm not,
talking about
I'm
in,
not a
in
politician.
Washington right now, they're saying we want to raise $3.6 billion. Well, they're not going to raise it, they're going to print it. And, people not thinking about it think, well, what that means is that the rich people are going to pay for it and such. But they've shown mathematically, if you took all the money straight from all the rich people, everything the rich people own in this country, you took it from them so they had zero. The government would go through that in less than 6 months. So it's a situation where, and going back to what we were talking about before, a person being self-responsible. One of the problems, even, when we talk about justice system, that 3 strikes and you're out situation that broke up a lot of Black families. So that they got into gangs because they were looking for a family there. Their father figure was a more seasoned gang member. Just not really having what they were supposed to have. And the government wants to raise your children. And when the government raises your children, they do it in prison. It's not taking the place of a father or mother or parent. It's taking the place of a slave owner.
Yeah.
And people, and again, you put messages like that in music that lets people know that, yeah, I know these things are wrong, but don't take the first option. Right now, you
But
have the option
guess
that I'm going to
what?
strike out.
They
Yeah.
know that has a trickle down effect on the minds. They know it.
Yeah.
That's a trickle down. If you're listening to that type of music and you're already a street life person, eventually that becomes their Bible and they're going to do it. They're eventually going to do something of that nature because that is the nature of something transmitting into you. Now, if you already got a disorder of you possibly are violent, what you think that's going to do? It's talking to you.
It feeds
It's
the
talking to
flame.
you.
Yeah, it feeds the flame.
But I noticed the pop
and,
music. I noticed the pop music is still pop music, though. I just want you to know that the pop music still is lolly 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 lolly.
It's cotton candy.
It's
and there's nothing in there that you can break the tooth on.
It's all friendly,
Yeah.
And guess what? That's the reason why they do bigger numbers. They do bigger
Well, think of the
numbers.
numbers Jackson 5 did. Think of the numbers that Jackson 5 and then New Edition did.
It
It's
was
like
great
if you
music,
give
though.
people positive, and yeah, it was great, but it made people happy. If you have music, you want to anger a person only to wake them up. Then if you're still waking up a person who's awake, you're annoying them, you're agitating them. And when you agitate a person acts out because they want to stop the agitation.
Yeah, of course.
There's going back to one of my favorite fables is the contest between the wind and the sun. The wind and the sun were arguing over who was the strongest, who had the most force. And then the wind looked down and saw a man coming up the road walking, and he had a hat and a cloak on. And the wind says, whoever can get that off that man, they're the strongest. So the wind started blowing on the man as hard as it could. And as the wind blew on the man covered his hat and wrapped himself tighter in the cloak to try to keep it on. And the wind finally ran out of wind. And he said, well, that's impossible. You go ahead, sun. And the sun shined hotter than it had before. And the man took off the hat and coat because it was too hot. And the moral of that story is persuasion is stronger than force. And it takes a person keeping their wits about them to use the force of persuasion.
And I'm gonna tell you
Because
something.
if I strike at you, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna tell you. I've seen people in this era loudly walk down the street and say the lyrics of these songs. I mean, really loud. Like,
yeah,
they know other people is listening and everything. And that usually when it's really loud and they're projecting loud, it affected them.
Yeah.
And it got in them because now there's basically a chant to them.
Yeah.
It's a chant basically.
And that, I mean, that
you know all the words.
That's why hymns work in church.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why what is I once was lost but now Amazing Grace. That's why Amazing Grace works. Because the song just keeps telling you what this thing is.
Yeah, of course.
That I went through this thing, now I'm delivered, I'm a new person because of Amazing Grace. It sells you on grace. Well, you can sell people on being a criminal too.
Yeah. Well,
and
I mean,
it's an industry.
The music has criminal content. It's criminal content.
Yeah, the lyrics.
Yeah, lyrically, it's right there.
Yeah.
So it's sitting right there, in songs. So, I mean, think about it. It's going to affect some people, and it's going to make some people do the wrong things. Now, some people going to look at it, oh, they just follow the beat.
And that's if a person has thought discipline, there is no way they can be fooled into anything. We hear the stories of the pastor who had an affair with the secretary of the church. Well, the reason you have an affair, a sexual affair, is for that release that is a matter of seconds. I mean, there's pleasure that you're working up toward that release, but when that orgasm happens, it's a matter of seconds. And the least damage is the fact that happened. There's an affair, and if you try to keep it secret, that's on your heart. The greater ill is if the eggs are fertilized, and now that secretary is pregnant, and that pastor has to tell first his wife and then the congregation that he did what he did. When you have that type of situation going on, a person is chosen to give away everything he's worked for up to that point and everything that he would have gotten after that point for a matter of a few seconds. And then that's a checker move. The way you get people in checkers is the game goes fast, somebody makes a move, and you react to it because you've already thought in your mind, if he makes this move, this is what I'm going to do. Chess is different. You're supposed to be 5 moves ahead, at least, and kind of think, well, if he does this, I'm going to do that. So when these impulses come, you can control them because you have thought discipline. Because you're saying to myself, there's no way I'm going to allow anybody to make me what I don't want to be. And it doesn't matter what type of music you want to be, want to get into. You first have to think of what you want to be as a person, what you want to achieve, what you want to be to your family, what you want to be to your friends, what you want to be to your community, what you want to be to your industry. You have to think about that first. And if anything gets in the way of that plan, you don't throw that direction. Like a good quarterback. If he sees that this receiver is covered up, you don't try to force it in there, because when you try to force it in there, you get picked. And you've lost the whole point of being a quarterback. So it's a matter of strengthening your mind, strengthening your will. Yep.
It's about right decisions at the right time.
And that's what good lyrics do. Because good positive lyrics, you don't, if it's right, it's right. And you don't feel like, well, no, I don't agree that you should love your wife. No, I don't agree that you should, like with What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I don't believe that we should say that war is wrong. If it's right, it's right. You have nothing to do but listen, relax into the reality, and come out of it shaking your head, yes, that's a fact. And people need to feed themselves. Things that just kept me, I'm as old as I am right now, part of what has kept me on track is the positive lyrics that have been filling my head. And I could just quote chapter and verse of things that people have sung that I would sing along to, and that would just kind of fill my mind with an arsenal of wisdom about right and wrong. And that's my whole plea about music is I want us, they got us with when they realize that we can be more powerful than they want black music to be. They got us with sending in, as much as people love it, there was a reason that Minneapolis movement came about, because men started dressing like women. The songs were mostly about sex and such. So it was almost like if you're going to write on the board, you have to erase what's been written. So you take all the positive messages that were written in the times before, and you want to write up on there just very erotic things and deliver them very effeminately. Then you have to clear off the positive things off the board so they can see plainly the negative things. Well, now we have to do the opposite. We have to erase the negative things, and we need to put up the positive things on a clean board. And that's what you do with your mind. Going back to Paul again, Paul said, do not be conformed to the world, but transformed from the world by the renewing of your mind. And the reason you have to renew your mind is the same reason you have to brush your teeth all the time. Because I could do the best toothbrushing job I did in my life, but if I only do it back then, and that begins to be yesterday, and that time becomes last week, and that time's become last month, by the time it's a year gone by, the teeth aren't there anymore. It's got to be a constant renewing of your mind so that the enemy cannot play on the weakness of you being stuck in the mire that he set out there for you, because the key to the enemy is to get you stuck in a way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I want to wrap it up. We've been on here for about an hour and 35 minutes now.
Yeah.
So I just put the information out there, and then we'll just wrap it up.
All right. Well, the album is on I think it's DC or DJC Radio Global Records. And if they go to, as a matter of fact, if they go to the DJC, I'm reading it now, or the DJ Cisco radioshow.com, they'll be
DJ
able
Cisco,
to
where's that at?
get all
Where's DJ Cisco show at?
It's in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, okay, it's a New York station. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of focuses on conscious and R&B stuff, right?
It focuses on everything we've talked about.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm just talking about his station.
Saying that,
his
what's that?
station. What's the type of music is he projecting at his station?
A lot of, well, it's everything that's out there now, including the stuff that is about to be out there with Mama There Goes That Band.
Okay.
It's a marketplace for listeners today, for stuff that they're used to listening to.
It's always a
and
market for the listener. It's always a market. But just like you said earlier, this has to be retrained. You know, the split, like you said, you would want a split division. And the split division would be what they doing now, and then the type of music that you're trying to portray. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like a split.
Yeah, you got to build a bridge.
Split. You got to build a bridge, or else it's just going to continuously be the way it is. And it's time for it to change. It's a lot going on. And, you know, consciously, it could help people broaden their horizons right now as well. So what you're talking about is waking up in the music.
Yeah.
Because if
and
you,
being the kind of music
you keep
that you
following that music, you gonna stay asleep.
Yeah. If you don't grow, you just stagnate.
Yeah.
You know, if a person is in a coma, they have to keep turning them over and over, or they get bed sores. And I think spiritually, mentally, people get bed sores if they don't turn their minds. They get brain sores if they don't let their minds get fresh and new. Just, you know, change your mind, renew your mind like you renew your underwear.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for coming out. I'm gonna leave out on your song, man. I like the song right here. Mama, There Goes That Band. And we're gonna leave out with this song. Thanks for coming out. It's been a great conversation. It's Saturday night. One thing about us, we wasn't at the party. So I'm gonna tune it out with this one right here. By the way, this is gonna sound really good. Just, you know, you need to rebroadcast it because it's gonna sound really good coming out the screen as far as the music. Here we go. Thanks for coming out.
Can't stop me now.
Thanks, man.
Can't stop me now. You can't. Hey. You can't stop me now. You can't. No. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. No. You don't know about me. But you're about to see. That's right. No matter how hard you try. Hey, can I go first? You can't stop me now. Damn, baby. Yo, determination. I'm all the faces and broken bases. Lord willing, I'll make a change with tricky cadences. Adjacent enemies, they all seeing things differently. And foes facing back, but donuts will address lyrically. But that's the system, man, we live in it. Take a minute, sit with it, then overcome it. Cause you can stomach the acidity. Never try to throw it up, but you'll die just before crapping out. Excuse the analogy. That's right. Mama, there goes that band.
But you're about to see.
Gotta think they can flip it like this. Hey,
No matter how hard you try,
that's right.
you can't stop me now.
Hey, yo, rap, what you got?
You don't know about me. You don't know about this burning in my chest to see the whole world turn about me. For the ones that doubt me, took one look at me, turned their nose up at me, told me there was nothing about me. The only affirmation I need is the one inside. God wrote my destination, so he's my only guide. Invited people on the journey to enjoy the ride. Some chose to humble me, but I came away with pride. Cause I was told to be a lion and pray more for my enemies and take every chance to pay for it. See more sunny days cause sun can shine when the rain pours. Make my legacy what the future wants that they came for. This little kid with glasses from the East Coast, grew up on syrup and French toast. Had big dreams of me doing the most, and I won't stop till I give up the ghost. What?
But you're about to see. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop me now. I'm known because I do pursue far and wide everything that's good to me. The game is not just about fame. And that being said, come back and see me when you read about me, read about me. Go through, you have read something about me, as they don't know about me. No, understand there are some things about this story you don't understand.
I choose my own destiny, your opinion of me don't define my legacy, mine totally free, doing everything I dreamed of, living my purpose, came from the bottom, rose to the surface. That's why you gotta have self-love and motivation every day in the mirror, repeating my affirmations. Everything came from hard work and dedication. Another day above ground, another celebration. How you like it, how we do that there? Yeah, in my zone, don't interfere. Yeah, I'm different, so they judge and stare, but I don't care, I ain't going nowhere, making it clear. Like I said, I be chilling in my zone. I'm fire, so you know that the heat is on. From the streets, so I learned how to hold my own. I ain't worried about you, so to each his own.